Hey Inspirators, it's Inspiring Vanessa here and welcome back to another wonderful interview for all of you. I am extremely excited for today's guest. She's a wonderful guest and also a wonderful actress. You guys may recognise her from the My Spy movie, which was personally one of my favourite movies that I've watched this year. I got to go to the multimedia screening here in London, so that was so much fun to go to. And she's also been in Big Little Lies, and she's basically been worked alongside with some incredible actors and actresses. So I am very excited to have this conversation with her and this interview to see how she actually began in the acting industry and what are her goals and aspirations for the future. So our guest today is the lovely Chloe Coleman. She is an actress and she's from the USA, so I'm very excited to be interviewing her today. So I'm going to wait for her to tune in and then we can get straight into the questions. Please make sure to click on the request button right over there. Just got the two little faces. Sometimes it is a little bit confusing as to how we go live nowadays. Oh, it says it's unable to join. Sorry, technical difficulties, everyone. But yes, let me know who else you'd like me to interview, or if you'd like me to do some more Instagram live, just guesting some of you guys and just having a little chat with any of you. So that would be wonderful. If you guys like to do that, then let me know for sure. Hi Chloe, if you just click on the two faces, and then that's just basically to send in your request, or it should come up in the comments also. Because right now it says unable to join, which is a little bit weird. So all you do is just send a request in for the live. Oh, and we're working. Okay, on now.
There we go.
Hello, how are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I guess. Is it all?
Sorry.
Oh no worries.
First. It's my first time doing a live, so I'm like,
oh
my gosh.
a little bit now. It's okay, no worries. We're just gonna have a bit of a chat about basically what you do, which I think is fantastic, which is everything that you're doing. So
Thank you.
What have you
Sorry, you cut out on the last part.
Oh, sorry. So what have you been up to recently?
Really, everyone's just been on quarantine, so we've been getting a lot of work done. We've been doing a ton of yoga, making a garden, as I've shown on my Instagram, but we've just been getting a lot of work done, and I think it's, just we've been able to take the time to, relax and accept what's happening. So it's been kind of nice being able to take a break and stay at home for a while. But we're also just staying safe and enjoying time with the family because we've been able to spend so much time together since usually one of us is away working. So now we've all been able to see each other for a while.
Having a bonding experience, that is lovely to hear. And being productive is the best thing that we can do over quarantine or during a pandemic because they're using your time wisely at the end of the day. So, the first question I'm going to ask you is, when did you begin acting and how did you realise you had a passion for it?
I believe I started when I was, 5 or 6 years old, but my mom used to be a producer and my dad's a cameraman, so I would get to be on set a lot with them and just watch it, and I was like, Mom, I want to do this. And so she would sometimes just film me making random videos. She's like, Chloe, do you want to do acting? And I'm like, yeah, I would love to, because I liked the environment of being on set with all these people, even when I wasn't acting. So when we started auditioning for roles, I enjoyed it so much. And the first time we booked, the first big thing that happened was Big Little Lies, and that was such a family. I realized how much I liked acting just because of the people you get to work with. You know, everyone plays a part, you know, the crew's important, and it becomes like a family at the end of the shoot. So, you know, it's important to, you know, be respectful and communicate and connect with people on set, because usually I'll end up seeing them. It's such a small world that I usually end up seeing people on some other projects. So um, I've always loved acting. You know, it's storytelling for me, and I love to be a part of stories. So.
Oh, that is amazing. That just warms my heart, explaining how you basically got into it. But that is so
Thank
cool.
you.
Obviously, were on sets from a very, very young age and kind of learning about how everything works before you were actually in the acting industry, being an actress or being in front of the cameras. You're kind of behind the scenes most of the time. I definitely agree with every show, crew and the director and the producers, and everyone plays a massive part, not actors and the actresses themselves who obviously making the characters come to life. So that is it. So, curious, who are your biggest inspirations and why?
My biggest, I've been watching her like since I was like 1. My mom used to have, you know, I would sit on the couch and she would show me the musical Sound of Music, which has Julie Andrews in it. And I have watched it probably over 200 times.
Whoa.
Well, actually even more, because I still watch it like today. It's my favorite movie of all time. I love Julie Andrews. I mean, it's just something about her. Her acting is so real, so that when I watch her, she feels so magical. She's like just an amazing presence, and she's so happy, and you know, she cheers me up. So she's just my idol. I would literally cry if I met her.
I mean, fingers crossed you get to work with her in the future. Would you ever be interested in doing musicals, for example, because you look up to her so much?
I love dance, and I love singing and all of that, and I really love Broadway. I know Hamilton just came out on Disney Plus, and we've been listening to the song like crazy. We love that musical. We watch it with our family and everything, but I'm interested in musicals and Broadway and stuff like that. I think it's really cool because I do all types of dance, and it would be really cool to be able to do that.
You're already a multi-talented actress, which is a bonus for everyone else, I feel like. So that would be really cool, especially for so much hard work that goes into it, I feel like. And I also just watched Hamilton on Disney Plus also. And I'm just thinking how much work they had to put in to actually have the final product and to
I know.
every time over and over again. But I could definitely envision you being on Broadway, so let's see if that's in the future, and also work as Julie Andrews. So you've worked on different projects and also played different roles. So what does your dream project or role look like?
I'm so interested in a sci-fi or just a Marvel movie, anything that's super, you know, action-packed, because I love comedy, I really do, but, you know, also drama is something I really am connected to. And, you know, I just love, like, science fiction. Fiction is one of my favorite genres, you know. I love everything in that area. And, you know, science is one of my favorite things. I'm very into NASA, so that would be the dream project. I mean, if I could do something like that, it would be amazing.
Just kind of filming in outer space or having that on a screen, that would be amazing. That sounds super cool. So, you have
also, I'm very into, like, sorry to interrupt, but the Marvel concept. You know, I watched Endgame and Avengers and all of that, and it was such, you know, a great movie. I would be amazing to work on a Marvel movie. That's, you know, really a big dream.
I mean, I love Marvel. It's my favorite type of just movies in general. Watching Marvel movies are so much fun to watch. They're definitely action-packed for sure. So that would be, you could be a character on Marvel, play maybe the younger version of a new Marvel character also. So that would be super.
I'm getting like all these ideas of it. It sounds so awesome.
So you have worked alongside with incredible actors and actresses such as Dave Bautista, Zoe Kravitz, Nicole Kidman, Jennifer Lopez, and more. So who's someone you'd love to work with and why?
You know, the director from Jojo Rabbit, I'm pretty sure his name is it's Takia Wati. I don't have it memorized, but that movie, Jojo Rabbit, is incredible. Like, it's so funny, and you know, it really, I went to Berlin when we filmed Gunpowder Milkshake, and I got to learn about the history of the wall, and we saw a concentration camp. And so, seeing this movie was like, I just loved where it was placed, and he's such a great director, and also his acting in the movie as Hitler was hilarious. I mean, I'd be so honored to work with him.
I mean, it's so cool that you obviously said that, because when you say working with people straight away think of actors or like your cast members, but it's so cool that you like having to work with like a director or a producer as well.
Thank you.
And you said that also. I mean,
Thank you.
watch that movie, but I think comedies are one of my favorite.
So good.
Or genre of movies, even though to some people it could be seen as darker humor, but as long as it still puts a smile on your face somehow, I think that's the best thing about it for sure. So you may know, but the My Spy movie is one of my favorite movies that I've watched this year. It's
Thank you.
So what was it like filming the My Spy movie, and how did you film all of the really crazy scenes that people may know of, or they may not know what I'm talking about?
I did. Just working on that set is just so magical. I mean, everybody, our director, Pete Siegel, but also Dave, is just a dream to work with. I mean, every day coming on set, he just kind of lightens the room, and it's always so nice to see him because he's a great friend. I mean, he's done so much for me. He's like, made some of my dreams come true. I had my birthday, I turned 10 on set, and he had the Guardians of the Galaxy wish me a happy birthday over video, and I was like, I was crying, and I was like, I was in disbelief. I was like, this isn't actually happening. So Dave has always been a friend, and forever will be, because he's just generous of himself, and that's what I love about him.
I think you both on camera are just perfect duo. Like,
thank you.
Thought of both of you together, if you had a chemistry reading, they just saw the sparks fly, I feel like, because you both are just on the screen. And obviously he is in Marvel movies, so you never know, that connection could work out in the future. That is so come true to just see your favourite actors wishing happy birthday to you, or just mentioning you, or knowing who you are, basically. That is amazing to hear that. I feel like he would be a very fun person to work with, and we'll have together are very comedy packed, just as much as the movie also.
Thank you. We actually did have sorry to interrupt, but we did have a chemistry read, and going in there, I expected him to, be this big wrestler, and I come in and it feels like I'm looking at a tower. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was like really, nervous, and he asked me, are you nervous? I'm like, yeah, I'm nervous. And so it was a connection at first, because I just liked how, open he was with me, and, he just, was really kind to me. So when we did the scene, I was, kind of debating. We had a more emotional scene in the chemistry, and I was debating, should I hug him, or would that be awkward? And we were just going through the scene, and I'm like, I'm just going to hug him because I feel it. And I felt like, I felt that emotion. So it was, the chemistry read was really when it all started. So I was just happy to be able to work on that set and, meet him and connect with him like that.
I mean, that's so funny that you said that, because I've just realised that if you obviously see this big guy come in and you have to be emotional with that type of person, I think it would be slightly almost intimidating at first, but it's good to be very comforting towards you as well, and that's obviously got the role in the film. So a very curious question I have for all actors is, how do you memorize lines? What are your best ways to memorize lines? And is it like one of your favorite parts of acting, or your least favorite parts of acting?
I don't mind memorizing the lines. I think what I do is I'll just go in my living room, and what I'll do is I'll read over it once or twice. And then there's some lines when I read it that really stick in my head. So then I'll sit back on the couch and I run through, and process what happens in the script. And I try and run it through my head. And then I'll go back and read it. But it doesn't take me as long, because when I really focus, I get a grasp of the story and emotion, and I get the lines. So sometimes I'll put down the lines and just, do through it in my head, or say it out loud and walk around the room. So it's a lot more, I don't know, it's kind of some weird thing where my brain just takes the lines and then suddenly I have them. I don't know why it works like that.
So would you say you've got a photographic memory?
Yes, this is actually something I do. Sometimes I will forget the line, and I actually remember the spacing and the size of the words, and I remember the word. So I'll remember, like, I might know the words, I just don't know the order. I'm like, oh wait, the spacing on this, the words it's a bit longer of a sentence, or like it's stretched out a bit more. I'm like, oh, that's the line. I do that sometimes, and it's really weird.
Wow, I mean, I wouldn't say it's weird. That's very impressive. I mean,
Thank you.
anybody would want to have a photographic memory, especially if you're learning a really long monologue or just a lot of lines for a TV series or a film, even a short film also. So that's very, very impressive, and you're very lucky to have that also. I think
Thank
for
you.
writing them down and then reading them over and over again until they somehow stick in my head. But that is really very fascinating to hear also.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, my next question is, what could we be expecting from you in the future?
Well, there's a lot, just going on right now, and everybody's, auditions have been a big thing, self-tapes, but I think really in the future, I always want to continue acting, but there's also some different things that I'm looking into, like directing and writing and stuff like that, because actually I think over quarantine I've been getting all these ideas in my head of, scripts and stuff like that. But aside from that, future projects that are coming up, I do have Gunpowder Milkshake, which is, very female-based film with some amazing, cast that I really enjoyed working with. And we got to film that in Berlin, and Berlin was, just incredible, such a magical place. But I also have, Marry Me that's coming up with Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson, which is I'm so excited for that movie. It's gonna be great. But, let's see, what else? There is Avatar 2, but of course I can't say anything about that at all, so. But, yeah, that's pretty much it.
When I saw that announced on your Instagram that you were going to be featured in Avatar 2, like, when I was reading it with my mum, our mouths just dropped. We were just like, so first of all, the second one, and one of our favourite kid actresses is going to be in it also, so that is fantastic. I know you can't say anything about it, but
yeah,
amazing to watch. I think for everyone it's going to be really breathtaking. It's going to really put everyone in awe, as they did with the first movie also, so that is really, really exciting. What it was like being on set and just seeing everything come to life right in front of you rather than just seeing it on a big screen. So that is really amazing to hear, and very, very proud of you for everything that you've been achieving.
Thank you.
Just kind of like, what else is there? And it's like, that is so amazing that you get to say what else is there that I've been working on also. So it's very amazing everything that you're doing, and I wish you all the best in the future also. You're very welcome. So the next question is from someone who sent in a question. So if anyone who is watching and has a question for Chloe, leave them in the comments box or put them in the question icon to select them. This question is from Izzy YC_2134, and she said, did you like shooting the My Spy movie?
I loved shooting the My Spy movie. The crew itself was amazing, and our director, Pete Siegel, I loved working with him. He's just a great director, because when I got to see the movie, put together, and he was there editing it, I'm like, wow, I'm so happy, with how it turned out, because just being with the crew in general on set, there's so many people that I remember, because everybody really plays a part. And also, people like Kristen Shaw were just amazing, and Parisa and all the other cast. So it was a really big family. I'll always remember that movie. It's always been amazing.
And you also filmed it in New York City, I believe.
No, we actually shot it in Toronto.
Oh!
It's based in Chicago, but we got to shoot in Toronto. But Toronto's also very nice. We love Canada, so.
And do you think there will be a My Spy 2? I can see people who are commenting that down below. They want to see a second movie.
I really don't know, but I'm praying, but people are talking about it, but I really, it would be awesome if you could do that. I would love to. I don't know though.
Kind of see, obviously, Sophie becoming an actual spy, kind of see developing to a spy. That would be a really cool story. I think everybody would definitely go and watch that in the cinema. So the next question is from someone who put it in the comments box, and it is from javco.o, and they said, what was your favourite backstage story from the Butterfly set?
Let's see, my favorite backstage. Oh, okay. So we had the swear jar on set, right?
Yes.
And I think it was around like the first couple of days we had been shooting, and I got in the swear jar, and we were filming in kind of the museum area scene, and I had it, and I was like catching people like right off the bat because so many people were swearing. So like the jar was already pretty full. So Pete was sitting our director, Pete Siegel, was sitting in the tent, and I was hiding behind, and I was waiting for him to swear, which I actually would do with him a lot on set. And the second he swore, I jumped out, and I was like, swear jar. And he was like, that doesn't count. It's only the first day. And I'm like, no, it counts. We actually got so much money just from that in general. So the swear jar, we donated it, all that money. We raised it to about $500 and donated it to the Amazon rainforest when they were on fire. So I'm happy that we, took it to a good cause. So yeah.
I mean, that is amazing. And $500, so the amount of times that everybody was just kind of swearing on set, that is really, really funny to hear. And I also saw you talking about that and the swear jar in one of your other interviews. That is really, really funny. Obviously, it did go to a really good cause, which is fantastic. Another question I also have for you that is just kind of a pop-up question is, obviously you have been talking a lot about Black Lives Matter on your profile as well. So what are your thoughts and your perspectives on the movement, and what can others do to support it?
We went to a very safe protest a couple of months ago, and I remember, we're all marching, and I just see how many people were there, and how many people, all the kids, because Gen Z has such a voice right now, and I want to be able to have a voice that I can use for good to let people know what matters right now, because Black Lives Matter. When we went to that protest, I started crying. I felt so emotional. It was just in a state that we were out here making a difference, and we were saying something, we were stepping up about it, and it felt so important because it is important. It's important for people to know that I'm even half Black, and I'm mixed, and I have curly hair, and it's always something that's been important to me, just to respect people equally, because that's how America should be.
I mean, that is absolutely amazing. Obviously, you being younger than probably everyone else at the protest as well, and you obviously you already are very outspoken, I think is so amazing, and I'm very grateful that we have people like yourself who are using platforms to speak up about it. Because everyone's like, oh yeah, but if you're more political, then people have a different opinion than you. It's like, well, then they will have an opinion, because this really should be spoken of continuously. And what are your also thoughts on performance activism and people just kind of seeing the movement as a trend?
I think when when as a trend, I don't really see it as a trend. I more see it as, an important message. And I know some people might say it's, some people have been saying that it's trendy to go and do this, but it's more like important, taking your time to go and step up and, be there with people it's not more of a trend. It's more of, saying something. And also the Democratic convention was going on, and I'm just really with Biden and his movement right now. I know I can't vote. I really wish I could, but I'm just waiting to be 18. But he's really made a movement to help with everything that's going on right now. So, and our future as in America. So that's important.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and especially with like the Blackout Tuesday posts and everyone posting the black square. I think that was seen as a trend, which it obviously definitely shouldn't be seen as a trend, because it was people's lives, and it's not just something we talk about for a month and then we just stop talking about because suddenly Black lives have mattered in society, because there's still injustice going on. It's not like it's just stopped all of a sudden, or like justice has been served. So I just want to say thank you for using your platform talk about the movement, as it is fantastic that you are speaking up about it and using your voice as you should be doing as a proud Generation Z.
Thank you.
You're very
Thank you. Yeah, Gen Z is so strong right now. It's crazy. I love this generation.
Definitely. So the next question is from Alex Kurian _007, and they said, what is your favorite song?
Okay, I'm obsessed with this certain genre of music called, what is it? Study Lofi, but Lofi beats. It's more of a like relaxed sort of music, kind of like micro pop and stuff like that. It's like lo-fi. I'm pretty sure it's lo-fi, but I'm trying to think of my favorite song because I have like this massive playlist of all these songs. So I'm trying to think. There's one really nice artist that I like who does micro pop, and I'm pretty sure his name is Jack Stauber, and he has some like really nice songs that I love. I think one of my favorite ones that he's wrote is Buttercup. It's a really trendy song on TikTok too, but I'm kind of in love with that type of music.
Kind of those aesthetic vibes that you see on TikTok.
Yeah,
definitely. Another question is from someone from the comments, and it's from nicholas.white.official, and they said, do you have any advice for inspiring or aspiring actors?
When I started acting, it's really important to be able to connect with people, in the room that you're acting with, because that's when you can get the real emotion out of it, which I think is, important. I feel like sometimes that name, the name acting can throw people off, because really it's channeling emotions that you have to your character in the scene. And, I think you really, if it's your dream, of course go for it, because really, anyone can act if they really put their mind to it and focus on it. So I say have the script in your mind. Don't stick to one type of read, but have a flow. Feed off other people's energy. It's the feeling that comes through the scene.
That is definitely a very meaningful piece of advice. So everybody who is an aspiring actor or actress, definitely keep that in mind when you're going forward in your journey or your career. The next question is from Kathy _.prvt_. And what's your favorite Netflix show?
Oh, there's a lot of Netflix shows that I love. We've just finished watching Space Force, and I absolutely love that. I also love The Office as one of my favorite shows. The Office, the Space Force was so good, but I also like some really nice animated series that I think a lot of people, they're really, underrated. I feel like a lot of people judge them as more for kids, but, some of them are really meaningful. Like, there's one that I watched a couple of months ago that I finished called, I think it was She-Ra, and that one was actually, really good. I'm not gonna lie about that. I really enjoyed that one.
And also, you were saying that you do like kind of sci-fi, that genre. I watched this TV series. It's called Lost in Space.
Yes, my dad's watched that, and I'm about to start it. I was gonna start it with him.
Then definitely start watching it. It is an incredible show. It's definitely, I would say, a sci-fi thriller, because you're on the edge of your seat, but that is a fantastic series. Just the whole cinematic experience you get while watching it is really, really good. So definitely start watching that. I think you'd really enjoy it.
All right, I'll start it. I'm gonna start it. I'm always looking for new shows and stuff, and I'm waiting for Stranger Things season 4. I'm so excited about that. So many theories going on with that.
I think with any TV show, especially with Netflix TV shows, there's always theories coming out. They're always really fun to read and see if they're actually the correct predictions, to be honest.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
So the next question is from Samuel Stammers 04, and they said, when acting, do you have to understand the actor's strengths or weaknesses?
Really, I think the character, mostly I'm talking about when I play a character in a role, I really want to be able to connect to what they're feeling. So finding things that I can relate to this with them is something that I can do. And sometimes I'll take other emotions that I can channel and convert into that type of emotion. So I really like to play the character because it's fun, it's storytelling to be these other people. So it's nice to, have a background of the character I'm playing and know a bit more about them so that I'm able to convert the feeling and emotion into them.
That is absolutely amazing. I think everyone always just child actresses as well, or child actors, and it's like, well, how can you play a really intense role if you've never experienced adult experience? That's really not the case, because if you're a talented actor or actress, you can portray different emotions, whether you've experienced it before or not, I think.
Yeah.
The final question is from Carmen Quintanilla, a very fun username, and how do you feel when you see yourself on TV?
I'm always very grateful, actually, to be able to have gotten to work on this in the first place and see it put together. I'm always grateful and, happy to even see the other people's work. When we did upload and my family watched the show, and we were so blown away. We loved it. I mean, there is this, I won't spoil anything, just a really good ending. But I'm very excited, if there's going to be a season 2. But I've always been so grateful and, honored in that way.
I mean, it's so fantastic what you're doing, and also thank you for your time for being my guest today on this interview.
Thank you.
Where else can I find you on social media apart from here on Instagram?
Thank you so much. You too.
And where can we find you on social media? Because I know you have TikTok, so could you let us know what you're using?
My username is actually the same as my Instagram. It's just Chloe Coleman Act, lowercase, no spaces. So it's the same for all accounts. It's Chloe Coleman Act.
And your TikToks are very fun to watch, especially.
Thank you.
They're very funny, very funny, and very quick also. But once again, thank you so much for being my guest today. It was wonderful speaking to you and actually finally getting to virtually meet you also. And
thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for being here today, and hopefully we can touch base soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
So this is the end of the interview. Thank you so much to Chloe again for being my guest today. She was so wonderful and lovely, and I'm very excited to see all the projects that she's going to be featured and that are going to be coming out. So I can't wait to watch those, and definitely stay tuned for what she'll be doing in the future as well. So make sure to follow her on her Instagram and also on her TikTok. And make sure to go check out my talk show. It is on Amazon Prime. It is called the Inspiring Vanessa Show. Unfortunately, I don't have Chloe or some of the guests that I interviewed here on Instagram on there, but I do still have some incredible guests on there, so make sure to go and check that out. Make sure to follow me on all the social medias at Inspiring Vanessa. But without further ado, thank you all so much for tuning in today. This will be on my IGTV later on, so if you are just tuning in now, you tuned in halfway, you can watch it from the beginning on my IGTV. But again, thank you all so much for logging in and tuning in, and I'll speak to you all later. Thank you, bye!